Okay, I'm going to show you how to cut and format illustration board for your projects. All you'll need to do this is a metal ruler. This is a metal ruler, got a cork back, was in your supply list. You need a regular old pencil, just like this, pretty sharp. You need an X-Acto knife with a sharp blade. You need your piece of illustration board to cut, and the illustration board is nothing more than a piece of nice cardboard or tag board with really good paper on the surface of it. And this is what we'll be doing all of our projects on. You'll have exercises which can be done on paper. You'll have projects which are the culmination of a unit, and they will be done on illustration board, which is a nice surface for almost any medium that we're going to be using. And you'll also need some kind of protective surface to protect your tabletop and to protect your blade from getting dull. I'm just using an old piece of cardboard here. So first thing we want to do is measure it, and if you'll remember from the directions, the overall measurement of this piece of illustration board for all of our projects is going to be 10 inches by 12 inches, and on the back of the illustration board I'm going to mark that out so I can cut it. So I'm going to mark 10 inches right here, lightly with pencil. I'm going to make another mark pretty far away from that at 10 inches as well, so that I can make sure that I have a nice straight line here. I'm going to line my ruler up with these two marks and make a nice pencil mark that can be my guideline for cutting. So there it is. That's my 10-inch side. My other way is going to be 12 inches. So I'm going to line the ruler up here and make a mark at 12 inches, which in my case is the very end of the ruler. And I'm going to make another mark over here at 12 inches, which again is the end of the ruler for me. And I'm going to connect those two dots so that I make sure that my piece of illustration board, once I get it cut, is going to have right angled corners and edges that are parallel to each other, a nice rectangle. So now I'm going to cut it out. I'm done with the pencil for the moment. I'm making sure that my cutting is going to occur on top of my protective sheet. I'm going to line up my ruler, my straight edge. It's important that you use a metal straight edge for this because the X-Acto knife will cut into plastic or wood, and you're going to use this as your cut guideline. Pressing fairly hard with your index finger on the top of the blade, you're going to pass over this several times. You're not going to try to get through it in the first cut. You're going to be nice and straight. You're going to keep good pressure on the ruler with your fingers right here, and you're just going to pass over this several times until you get through the illustration board. A nice, smooth motion. You'll be able to feel it when you get through the illustration board. I feel it right there. So it took me 3 passes with my sharp blade, and now I turn it again to make sure that my cutting area is on top of my protective cardboard surface. And again, I'm going to line my ruler up with my pencil line. I'm going to hold that ruler down nice and firmly with my left hand. If you're left-handed, you'll hold it down with your right hand and cut with your left hand. Either way, you're putting some significant pressure on here so that this ruler doesn't move around on you. And again, several passes, nice and slowly. Remember, the blade is very sharp and you don't want to cut yourself. So it's going to take me probably 3 on this side too. Probably one more right here. One more time just to be sure. And there it is. So I have cut out a 10 by 12 inch piece of illustration board from my larger sheet. So I can save the rest of this for another sheet, another project later on. And now I'm going to make sure that I'm on the front of the illustration board, and I'm going to mark a 1-inch border all the way around here. It's important for this class and for other projects that you may do that you always maintain a 1-inch border around your piece. Nothing occurs in that 1-inch border. It's sort of a protective area for your artwork. It's not part of your design, it's not part of your picture, it's just extra out here. We use it when we mat and frame the piece if we end up doing that, but it also gives you a place to grab or stick a tack into it if you need to without hurting the design itself. You never want your design to go completely to the edges of a board. You want to create a border around it within the board. So for all of our projects, this will be the same. We're going to create a 1-inch border, and that will leave us with a 8 by 10 inch image area in the middle. So I'm placing my ruler again here, and with my pencil I'm going to mark 1 inch here very, very lightly, and another 1 inch here very, very lightly, and then I'm going to move it down again so that I can maintain those lines parallel to the edges and parallel to each other. And I'm going to make another mark here at 1 inch, and another mark here at 1 inch, and then very, very lightly, so that it can be erased later on at the end of the design, so that it doesn't interfere with your design. You're going to very lightly mark with pencil the 1 inch border. Okay? And then on this side, again, very lightly with your pencil, you're going to mark the 1 inch border very lightly, just like that. And then we're going to do the other sides, and we're going to place the ruler here, mark 1 inch lightly, 1 inch lightly again. You can do it here. You can use a T-square for this if you have one. That allows you not to have to make the 2 marks each time, because the T-square allows the straight edge to be parallel to the edges, thereby creating the right angled corners. So very lightly there so that it can easily be erased, and very lightly here so that it can easily be erased. And you've got then your 10 inch by 8 inch image area. Right in here is where you'll be placing all of your designs. So you'll need a different board, a new board for each project, be formatted exactly like this with your 10 inches or 12 inches by 10 inches, 1 inch border, making the 10 inches by 8 inches for your image area right in here. I'd like for you, for this first project, to go ahead and scan this, and I'll be able to see how you made your 1 inch border. Go ahead and scan it and send it to me in the same way that you turned in your exercises. So this will be your first project, me making sure that you can cut and format the piece of illustration board correctly, that you can scan it, and that you can upload it via the FTP to your folder on the server. You can use this exact same piece of illustration board to create your first project for Unit 2, which will be line.